Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 314. And yes, my hair is crazy. Why is my hair crazy? Because I still haven't gotten it cut. Once my stylist quit, or I should say quit and stole all of her clients, my clients, whatever. I'm not mad. I'm just I've been thinking about it a little bit more. And I actually got a text message from her the other day. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, last vlog I talked about the fact that we had two stylists at Salon Posta that basically jetted. And this is something that I don't know that I got this point across very well in the last vlog. When these two stylists came to Salon Posta, they literally had like 0 clients. The one had maybe like 2 or 3, but the other person was an assistant. And so literally over the course of the year, we filled up their schedule. And so it's not like they came with all these clients, but they got a full book and they thought, I'm gonna make all the money anyway. So it's not, anyway, I got a text message from my hairstylist, said, hey, I really appreciate the exposure and I wish I could still cut your hair. I'm like, good luck, peace. I was blown away that she would actually say that to me, but hey, I'm glad she's appreciative. I got an appointment in about 15 minutes with a financial advisor. So I own a piece of real estate right next to my office that is a wealth management that basically, what am I doing? I am all over the place trying to explain things. All right, I need to center myself. So I own real estate, commercial real estate. I own my office, but then right next to me, there was another bank-owned property that's 5,000 square feet that I was like, you know what? And this was back a few years ago. I was like, I think I'm going to buy it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I bought it, I renovated it a little bit, and I ended up leasing it to a company called Marino Wealth Management. And they're amazing, right? They've been amazing tenants, and I have had a little bit of money with them just because I kind of felt like, you know what, like here, let's do it. And so over the course of, so in terms of, this is a question that was actually asked in this last vlog. In terms of like, have I hired a financial advisor? So I'm not the best when it comes to like investing with the stock market or mutual funds or anything like that. In terms of me and where I have money other than real estate, I have a lot of money tied up in real estate because, as a lot of people don't do this. I do this because it makes me sleep better. I pay cash for all my real estate, right? I don't like having any loans, any debt, anything like that. And right now I'm in a good position in terms of generating revenue that I can afford to do that and still take money and save it and invest it and fund my retirement account and all that good stuff. And so in terms of where I've got money with this company that I'm actually going to be meeting with in about 10 minutes from now. Not a ton. I've got a Vanguard account, I've got a defined benefits account, I've got an Ameriprise or Ameriprise account this guy gave a little bit of money to see what he did. I've also got a few other things, but I'm kind of all over the place. And that's the point of me going and meeting with them. They reached out to me, they said, hey, we can help you sort of put together a better picture of what your finances actually are. And so with this house that I'm building, I realized that I need to get a handle on it. I need to understand where am I in terms of my finances? Because, I am planning and saving to pay cash for this house. And so it's a lot of money. And so I'm on a very strict savings plan. The reason why I got the other car or I traded my car in is because I'm like, oh, if I can save $700 a month, that's, a few light fixtures. And so I'm all about sort of planning and strategizing to be able to build this house, because this house is one of the biggest things I've ever done, the biggest thing financially that I've ever done. And so I just want to make sure that I'm in a pretty good position, that I am in a position that I'm not putting myself or my wife or my family or my other obligations at any type of potential risk. If the internet fails, if everything collapses, if whatever, I need to be in a position that I can be you know what, screw it, I'm cool, and I can just kind of hang out. I could also refinance all of these assets that I have in terms of real estate and get money out. So if I really needed money, I could get money out. But that being said, I've got a meeting in 9 minutes, and we're going to go over it's this really cool software that basically we took all of my investments, all of my assets, all of my income, all of everything, and plugged it into one thing to really give me a better idea of what my current and personal net worth is, which I had no idea. I have no clue what it is. And the things that are not included in this sort of formulation thing are things like my businesses. I don't know what Tiege Hanley is worth. We're not putting that in my net worth portfolio. Pete and Pedro, no idea what that's actually worth. And so I have other assets in terms of my businesses, but they're too hard and difficult to value. But I do get, anyway, long story short, I've got a meeting with them today. They put everything together and we're gonna sit down and look at things. But the whole reason why I started this is that I need to get a better idea and handle on my finances in terms of investments, what I've got, where I'm going. Can I, afford to basically shut it down and retire and still stay in this house because my property taxes are going to be high. So what are my monthly expenses with this new, so it's me trying to basically be responsible and be a grown up is what I'm trying to say. And I've got that meeting in about 8 minutes. So I'm probably going to start, go there, handle that business, come back and finish up. But the thing that I talked about last vlog was the fact that I want to talk a little bit about the house building process. I have been building or planning or strategizing and working on this new house since March. And if you guys missed the video where I did and I talked about the inspiration house and how everything came together, we're going to link to it down below because there's a lot of backstory to this. One of the pieces was the fact that I hired a new builder. I want a new builder. The guy who built that house was the inspiration house. And then my architect, my designer, my interior person, and everybody was like, you got to use this person. And so I talked to him. We came to an agreement. We figured out a number. I am going to be paying this new builder basically a fixed amount. And then I am going to basically pay the cost of the house. How I did it with my old builder was, they call it cost plus, where you don't know what you're going to pay this person other than the percentage over what you're actually spending. What I mean by this, and I'm a little bit all over the place and I apologize in advance, maybe I'll slow down in a minute, but I'm trying to get so much out and there's so much going on in my head. Anyway, the way the custom houses usually work is it's either a fee-based or a percentage base and cost plus as they call it. And so for my first house, the deal was I paid 15% of whatever the cost to build this house was to my builder. All right, so if it cost you $500,000, you're spending or paying them 15% of $500,000 in order to build this house. For easy math, say it's $1 million, 15% would be $150,000 on top of the cost to build the house I am paying to the builder to do this. Well, with this new house, I basically sat down with the guy and I'm like, look, this is my budget. Can we build this house, including paying you for this amount of money? And so we sort of, talked a little bit and one of the things that I loved about him is that he's all about saving money and value engineering different things. And so he said, yes, I think we can. I said, okay, so we basically came up with, or he told me, he goes, I will build this house for you for X number of dollars. And then anything we spend, whether or not it's, $1 million or $3 million, right? He's not getting an additional percentage, and it doesn't matter to him whether or not I'm spending more, spending less. That's all basically up to me, which I like, because when you're talking about a house at this level, the delta can get a little bit out of hand pretty fast. And the more I get into this, the more I realize that, okay, we're probably going to be a little bit over budget from what I sort of imagined or what we sort of planned on, and I kind of knew that going into it. And so I've been preparing for that. And so that being said, the decision was made that I was going to hire this new builder. And so I'm like, all right, at first I was really trying to get my old builder because I really love them to do this house. But it came down to where I don't feel 100% comfortable with my old builder being able to execute the quality and the craftsmanship and the level to which I'm going to expect on this new house. My old builder doesn't build this type of house very often. And the new builder, Michael, that's all he does. It's all he builds are these really nice, high-end, iron windows, glass and slate and brick and all sorts of super beautiful finishes. And the level of finish inside is also kind of a different level. And the way that I was doing this first house, my first house that I built, it was a whole different level. I went to an architect, I sat down, I was like, okay, this is kind of what I want. He basically sketched on paper. What do you think of this? I said, great. And we were off to the races. I hired my builder. We started building. And as we were building, we were starting to choose and pick the different finishes. It's like, okay, hey, I need to know what tile to use for this bathroom, or I need to know, what color kitchen cabinets and what are you going to do in here. And so we were literally choosing things like real time as it went. Well, this house, every single detail is going to be chosen prior to us basically being finished with the plans. It's just a whole nother level. Anyway, so the builder, I basically was talking to Linda and my kitchen guy and my design person and everybody, and they're like, you've got to use this guy, Michael. And so I talked to Michael, decided to use him, went, negotiated, we're good, agreement signed. And then it was like, all right, well, I got to eventually tell my builder that I'm not going to be using him, because he knows that I was starting this process. And I told him that I was going to allow him or ask him to bid once we got the plans all finalized. And so as we're going through it, I realized, you know what? I'm just going to use this other guy. I'm not even going to waste his time sending him the plans to bid. It's just not going to work out. It's not you, it's me. And so for about 3 months now, I've been dreading kind of the conversation or the phone call, because I see him, I see his wife comes into the salon. Like, I love them. I think they're great. But it was one of those situations where it's not business, or it's not personal, it's just business. And so I was thinking about it, I've been thinking about it. I'm posting more stuff. The builder and the architect are starting to post like renderings of the house. And I think my builder actually follows these people. And so I'm like, all right, I got to man up and have the hard conversation. And so last week I called. I was like, hey, Joseph, I left him a message. And he called me back, and I was all nervous. And I said, look, and I just basically told him, I'm like, this is the situation. It's a team. The team that I'm going to be using is them. And part of that team is this builder. And that's, the only type of house this guy builds. And so he understood it. And he was like, dude, no problem. I totally understand. And he said, if I'm being honest, I'm too busy now to even get to this. And so I wouldn't be able to start on this house even if you wanted me to. And so we had a good call, great call. He's an amazing guy, and I think they're incredible. And that was hard, though. I got to be honest. It was a hard conversation, but one that I'm happy I have. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this last meeting that I had with the team after I go and deal with this. I will be back in a second to finish the story. Bye. All right. So that was an interesting meeting. Apparently, I'm not going to have a Vanguard account anymore. We're going to transfer anything and simplify things. Anyway, where was I? Talking about this house. Okay, so everything is moving along, and we're getting closer to being finished. The plans are officially locked in. Now they're working on all the detail, like the brick detail and everything like that. So at this last meeting, it was really cool because everybody that was in attendance was the guy Design Galleria, who's basically handling the kitchen, the bar area, not to mention our bathroom. He basically makes all the designs, and then he does all the cabinets, and you buy the cabinets through them, but they're twice as expensive as everywhere else. But it's beautiful. He's actually written multiple books, and the stuff that he does is just next level gorgeous. He works in tandem with our designer. I hired a woman, her name is Kelly Anthony. She has an amazingly successful interior design business, and she is going to be responsible for picking and choosing all the finishes, the flooring, the cabinet color, the faucets, the fixtures. And so through her, she will basically do all of the finishes, but I will also be buying the light fixtures, the decorative light fixtures through her and her resources. Now, the cool thing is that you get it at a little bit of a deal. Let me explain kind of how this works. So when I was meeting with her and I was asking, I'm okay, so how does it work? I buy the light fixtures through you. And the way that and then I'm going to be buying furniture. She's going to be doing a furniture plan and all of that. And so I will be buying furniture through her. And the way that it works is she gets it, or I get it at her cost, and then she marks it up. I believe it's 15%. And so it's 15% on top of whatever the cost of that item is. And the cool thing is that what she gets it for in terms of her cost is drastically below retail. So essentially, you're paying less than retail, but you're still but she's still making her margin in there. Now, give you an example. That light fixture up there, and I put in the light fixture at her office. I said, how much is that? She goes, our cost is $500. I said, okay. And if you guys have ever like looked at like Restoration Hardware, any of these like higher end like lighting stores, like lighting is one of those things that absolutely like makes the house. I am a firm believer that invest money in lighting and the kitchen, because those are the things that really pop. And I've heard somebody say that lighting is kind of like the jewelry that or the accessories that you're dressing the house up with. Anyway, so she's like, that cost us $500. The retail price on that is $1,300. And so even though I'm paying 15% on that $500, it's still drastically below what you could actually buy the fixture for retail. So that's just an example. You want to see Kelly? All right. So I took some pictures at the last meeting. All right. So right there, this is an example of sort of the palette or the tray of all of the stuff that she brought in to kind of show us in terms of the design, right? In terms of all the finishes. It's really cool, right? She's showing us different fabrics and textures and colors and stones and all sorts of stuff. And then this is Kelly standing there, and the guy that's holding that like wood panel is actually Charlie. Charlie is the landscape architect. So what Charlie did was basically, while we were sitting there meeting, he was outlining and sketching on top of the plans and did something like this. So he literally is sitting there like drawing like where trees are going and where, you know, the stone steppers are going to be, and really doing like a plan. And so that's kind of like bare bones, like what's going to happen with the outside. Now, you want to see some of the renderings of the outside of the house. Now, I show this, I show, it's cool. I can't lie. It's super exciting. As we've talked about before, the house is built like a U, right? And then in the back of the house, it's actually, let me show you. All right, so check it out. What we're doing is, as you can see, there's a pool there in the center. It is shaped like a U, the house. And so on one side, you've kind of got like the kitchen, the family room, and an outdoor like screen porch, which is on the right-hand side of this. On the left-hand side is our bedroom, and kind of like, you know, basically it's like our master wing, right? And then in the center of the house, that's where the dining room is going to be. There's a little bar area. There's also my study, my office, and a bathroom and some other little things. It looks bigger than it actually is. I'm just telling you that right now. It looks gigantic. It's not as big as it looks. And then we built a retaining wall and are elevating basically the backyard to have the pool area out there. So basically the interior of the house will all open up to the pool area. And then down below, you see that arch like kind of curve action, right? That is our basement, where there's going to be like our media room and another little bar. And that round thing is going to be like an iron and glass, like really cool like feature that when you come down the stairs, that's kind of what you see. Outside is going to be like a little fire pit. And just a little seating area so that if you're downstairs, you want to come outside, that's that. Now, do you want to see the front of the house or an elevation? Just to give you sort of an idea of what the aesthetic is going to look like, this is it. And so really, really, really excited about the way that it's turning out. As you can see, the stairwell is in the corner. It's going to be a really amazing kind of feature to the house, but it's really clean. And the biggest challenge with doing this house is scale, right? You want to make sure that it doesn't look super out of place on a street that has historic, you know, some smaller houses. But I think we really did a good job in terms of scale from the front. It's going to look, you know, obviously it's not a small house, but it's going to be, I think, it's going to be super beautiful. And I'm so excited. And I literally have been loving this process. So the next time I go down there to have the big like group meeting, what I want to do is actually bring the camera and introduce you to everybody and kind of let them talk a little bit. I had thought about it last time, but we had a lot of things to do, a lot of things to get, you know, sort of handled and situated. And I didn't want to just like bring a camera and kind of monopolize that. The meeting last time was 2.5 hours long. Everybody kind of went through. Matthew, the kitchen guy, went through and showed us like what the kitchen is going to look like, what the cabinets are going to be like, the renderings. He brought different like fabrics and finishes, and it's been an amazing process that I've absolutely had the best time doing. And it's literally a once in a life. I say it's a once in a lifetime thing and experience, and I truly feel like this is kind of like all the planets and universes kind of colliding for a really cool experience. You know, I don't know how long Michael's going to be building houses. I don't know how long Linda's going to be doing, you know, architecture, and, you know, same with, you know, Design Gallery and Kelly and Land Plus, the landscape architect. Like the people and the team that I have assembled for this project is like best of the best. And it's just amazing to sort of see things working. And the other day, I was talking to my Aunt Dee, who was actually getting ready to build a small little house on a piece of property that she bought. She's 76 years old, but she's like totally fearless. Anyway, she's single and she's like, this is my dream. I'm going to go do it. And she's built a few different houses before. And so she and I were talking, and she was sort of saying, sending me plans of kind of what she's looking to do. And we just started talking, and I said, I just love it so much. And I think it's, really, it's like in our blood, because my grandfather, her father, my mom's dad, was a builder, and that's kind of what he did. And so we started going down this, sort of rabbit hole, talking about, how she would actually go when he was building. And every day for lunch, my grandmother would make him, because he would be the one like hammering and doing the building himself. He wasn't like outsourcing things. And she goes, every day at lunch, I would go down to the job site because he was building close to where we lived. My grandmother would make my grandfather 6 meatball sandwiches or 6 meatball subs for lunch every single day. And she says, it was just something that she would go and she would be a part of, and she just loves the smell of sawdust. And it's kind of the same thing with me. My grandfather, as I've mentioned before, Frank Gassoni, one of my heroes. And I used to go over to his house every weekend and work as he got older and when I was younger, just to help him around the house, because as he was aging, his body was kind of failing him for years of abuse. He had cancer a few times. And so we would, I would work for him. I would be kind of like his body, and he would sit there and he would talk to me, and it was a really special time. I get choked up thinking about him just because I love him so much and miss him. Sorry. But anyway, so I really feel like that is one of the reasons why I love like real estate. I love building. I love this process, and doing this kind of makes me feel closer to him. So I don't know. Is that why I'm weird? I don't know. Oh, sorry. That's me every time. But so that's kind of the situation. That's the Alpha M Cribs update. Super excited about it. I am thrilled at the progress, and I cannot literally wait to get started. I've been saving my pennies, and that's what the meeting next door was for, was kind of to look at things. And the good news is that even if things go weird, I think I should be okay in terms of financially, even building this house. And that's the one thing that I really wanted to just make sure that I wasn't doing anything that was crazy or stupid. And anyway, it may be crazy and stupid, but I'm still gonna do it, and I'm loving it and having a great time. And we'll see. If you guys want more, I know you want more. So I will give you an update next time. Next time I go down to actually meet with everybody, it should be one of the last times that we all are together before we actually start the process of breaking ground. The plans are supposed to be done by literally next week. I don't think they will be, but we are tentatively going to be breaking ground January, so early in January. So we've already been in touch with engineers. We've got to move a big pipe on the property. That's going to be a little bit tricky, but we're working through everything. Anyway, thanks for listening, and thanks for being a part of this process. I just love talking about this kind of stuff. I also love talking about business, which is where we're going to wrap things up. If you have a business question down below, start it with business question and ask your question. Next week, I'm going to get to a lot of your business questions. And is next week Thanksgiving? Next week is next week is freaking Thanksgiving. That is so crazy to me. But one thing that we at Tiege Hanley are thankful for is you and your continued support. We got things that at Tiege Hanley we're dealing with, we're working on, we're working through, but things are looking really good. But like I said, we are thankful that you are a part of this, and we couldn't do it without you. And like I was saying before, if you've got a business question down below, start with business question and ask it. Next week, I will definitely get to some of your business questions, and I just hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving and you eat a lot of incredible food, because I am going to be a fat pig the day of Thanksgiving, and then the next day I'm going to run it off. Anyway, gentlemen, we love you more, of course, more than, what am I trying to say? Double monk strap shoes? Yeah, we love you more than that.